Hello guys and welcome back to Championship Predictions. Now usually we would do our Championship predictions for the weekend on a Wednesday, but because our friend George has decided to get married on Wednesday, we're going to do it on Monday this week. Feel free to wish him congratulations down in the comments, guys. He's the guy that we see at the CBS always predicting Coventry to win 4-0.
Prediction! We'll win 4-0.
Sophie, before we get into the predictions, set us a like target.
Let's go 2,200.
Same as last time, I think. Yep, let's see if we can do it. It takes 2 seconds. Once again, please make sure to support us. Remember, I did get told off over the weekend for plugging my own channel. How dare I? But make sure to get involved. Support us. If you like us, hit that like button and make sure to subscribe as well. We're on the road now to 77,000 subscribers. Thank you for your great support. The final thing to do, Sophie, before we get into the predictions is look at last week's predictions where I continue to stretch my legs at the top of the Championship. What can we say except for Matt SB is the king? Right,
The Championship, yes.
Of the Championship.
I'll give you that, yeah.
You are better at the Premier League. Let's get into the predictions, Sophie. We start with Friday night's game. It's Plymouth Argyle versus Luton Town. Now, this is a really intriguing game because I think Plymouth, if they're going to stay up, are going to get their points at home.
Yeah,
and remember, last time at home, they beat Sunderland. They've just gone away to West Brom and lost 1-0, which is not a disgrace when you think West Brom are top. But they come up against Luton, who are another difficult opposition. They've just won their last couple of games. And as we expected, Rob Edwards is starting to get them moving now. And, you know, you'd think...
The cogs are turning now, aren't they?
The cogs are turning. You think eventually they're going to be challenging. Do you know what? I'm tempted to go for Luton, but I'm going to give Plymouth a draw. I do think at home park they are going to get some points, and they need to. I'm going to go for a draw. Desmond Tutu.
Ooh, that could be a really good game. Do you know what? I think I am going to have to lean towards the favourites in this one. But because of Plymouth's recent performances, I think they're going to be in this game. Whereas beginning of the season, I thought this would almost be like David versus Goliath. But it's not at all. So I'm going to have Luton to win, but only by 1 goal. So for me, Luton do it 2-1.
2-1.
Yeah, I think it could be a close game.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, well, share your thoughts, guys. I'm going for the 2-2. Sophie's going 2-1 to the away side. Next up, Soph, we'll go to Ewood Park as Blackburn Rovers take on Queen's Park Rangers. I think it'd be a really decent game, this, because I've liked what I've seen from these two this season. In particular, Blackburn. Obviously, they were involved in a 0-0 draw at Preston. A red card either side. There should have been more. Was it Beck who was eaten?
He was bitten, yeah.
Was nearly eaten alive. They take on QPR, Sophie, and I think they've been good, but not very consistent. It was a draw last time against Millwall. I do like Cifuentes. I do like Eustace. I'm tempted to go down the middle, but I'm just going to go for the team that has had the better start. Blackburn 2-1.
Okay, I'm going to go Blackburn 1-0. I think it could be another low scoring one. As you've mentioned, QPR have been a little bit inconsistent. At times they play some nice football, but at the moment, I'd say the team more in form is Blackburn. Yeah. So I'm leaning towards them.
Yeah, they're having a really good season.
Yeah, they are.
Let's see how long they keep it up for. Okay, right, next up, Soph, let's go to Derby County versus Norwich. Now, Derby County, they went away to Sheffield United. They lost 1-0 due to a Gustavo Hamer free kick. They've been all right. You know, they've been really good at home. They've not been amazing away, but I think in general, if you're just really good at home, that should be enough to keep you up. They need to keep that going. They're up against Norwich, and it's going to be difficult because Norwich are going to be high on confidence. They got that great win against Watford, but they've been a little bit inconsistent, Norwich. I'm thinking Norwich have got the quality, but once again, I just think with Derby having the home advantage, they've got to get something. 1-1.
Ooh, okay, yes, this is difficult because, as you say, if it was at Carrow Road, I would lean more towards Norwich. But I think this could be quite an entertaining draw. I do fancy Derby a little bit more when they're at home. Again, I think Norwich, they're getting some good results, but I still don't think they're at the point where I think they're going to get to this season, let's say. I think they're going to improve. You could say the same with Derby as well, if they start performing better away from home too. But yeah, I'm going to go down the middle. I think it could be a Desmond. I'm going to say 2-2.
2-2. There you go. I think you predicted 2-2 for Derby last time against Sheffield United. We will see.
Right.
On to the next one. It's Hillsborough. It's Sheffield Wednesday versus West Bromwich Albion. It's a team in the bottom 3 versus top of the league. And West Brom just keep chugging along, don't they? Whether it's 1-0 or 3-1, they're just winning. And that's the main thing.
Madja's in great form as well.
Madja, Corberan, the fans are on board. It's really, really nice at West Brom right now. And honestly, I think top 2 is definitely possible. I think they're going to get the job done. It's a good time to play Sheffield Wednesday. They've not been clicking. I think they might get going later in the season. But I'm going to go Sheffield Wednesday 0, West Brom 1.
Yeah, I feel like Sheffield Wednesday are in a similar position to Coventry at the moment, whereas the performances are definitely below par. The expectation has been set higher, and you want to stick with the manager because, like Coventry, you're not going to get rid of Robbins in a hurry, and I don't think they'll be looking to get rid of Roll in a hurry either. Both good managers. I do think they'll improve at some point, but I'm not sure if it's going to happen just yet. I think it's still quite early in the season. And they're coming up against West Brom, who are absolutely flying at the moment. So do I see them getting anything? No, I think it'd be amazing even just to draw against West Brom at the moment, even though you're the home side. But I'm going to say 2-0 West Brom.
2-0 West Brom?
Yeah, West Brom are looking good.
Yeah, okay. Well, share your thoughts, guys. I do think the Baggies should get it done, but who knows? Right, on to the next one. It's Hull City versus Cardiff City. And first of all, we need to highlight that Cardiff City have sacked Blue.
Yeah.
It seemed likely, didn't it? Especially after, another defeat against Leeds and the slow start that they've had. They need to get the appointment right. They really do. Because if they don't, we might get to Christmas and they're still bottom. I think in terms of the players they've got and the potential, they shouldn't be bottom, obviously. But, they need someone to get the right tune out of them. So they take on Hull. Hull got their first win last week. Great win. Casey Palmer, really influential in that game. Do you know what? I mean, I'm thinking of backing Hull, but it would be quite typical if Cardiff can get their first win here after Hull got their first win last week. No, I'm going to go for the team that did get the win last week and maybe that little bit more positive and with the home advantage. I'm going to say Hull City 2-1.
Yeah, I'm going to say 2-0 Hull City. For me at the moment with Cardiff, they have got a few players injured, so they've not got their strongest 11 available, but I wasn't convinced by their manager, and as you've said, I think that it's got to be the right appointment. I don't think it should be a quick fix because right now that relegation zone, I know it's very early on in the season, but you're almost like tipping certain teams to then finish down there by the performances, and I think you've got to have a manager that's going to come in, hit the ground running, but do it consistently for the season. You don't want 2 managers gone in one season. That's just disastrous. So it would be good to see if they get a new manager in time, who that's going to be, and if he can get a tune out of that Cardiff team. But right now, I'm leaning towards the home side as well. So as I say, Tigers 2-0.
Yeah, it's a good point you mentioned. Usually, the more managers you get through, the worse season you're having.
Yeah.
We will see. They need to get that one right. On to the next one, Sophie. We are off to Ellen Road. It's Leeds United versus Coventry City. Do join us on the channel on Saturday for the live stream. We did go last season, Sophie, and I think if Coventry are going to get anything from this game, we have to do something similar where we really hang on. And we have to do a little bit of time wasting and be cynical because coming into this, I really don't want to be negative, but I feel very flat and it's a very difficult game. Leeds have been pretty good. They're not perfect. There's definitely a couple of holes where you might be able to poke between them, and Coventry did take 4 points off Leeds last season, but I just think the Coventry team this season is not hungry enough, and I really want to see some aggression, some passion, fighting for the badge, because that's what we've lacked. Obviously, I think we've got quality. Maybe we don't have as much in defence and midfield as we do up front, but I just want to see something. I mean, if we can get out of here with a draw, I'd be very happy.
I'd snap your hand off for it.
So, you've got 2 options here for me. You've got the realistic option, which is a Leeds win, or you've got blind faith and you go with Coventry. Or a draw.
Yeah.
Leeds 2-1. I think Coventry are going to play well for about half an hour, or maybe for one half, but it won't be enough. We can't put a 90 minutes together, and I think Leeds will win.
I think Leeds will win as well, but I hate backing against us, and you never know. Last season I didn't expect us to win. We got the draw. We're in worse form coming into this one, so I think the expectation's completely off us in this game. I'm not going to say it's a free hit at all, because that's very far from the truth, but if we could get a draw, I know that sounds terrible, but I genuinely would take it right now. So, do you know what? Back the boys, back Robbins. He's going to come home with 1 point, 1-1. Yeah, no, it's not going to happen, and this is why you're beating me in the Championship.
Well, no, honestly, I'd much rather your prediction comes true. Coventry, please prove my prediction wrong. But yeah, Leeds United, very, very powerful. Right, on to the next one, Soph. Let's go to Middlesbrough versus Stoke. Now, both teams come into this on the back of defeats. Middlesbrough lost 1-0 against Sunderland. What a goal by Chris Rigg, by the way.
Yeah, great goal.
And Stoke City, they brought in Pellock, and they lost 3-1 to Hull. It was Hull's first win of the season.
Yeah, Hull were winless at that point as well, so not a great start.
No, it's one game. It's way too early to judge. Yeah. I think he could turn it around and get a win here. And there is sometimes a sense that Carrick's a little bit under pressure, because I feel like he's good, and Middlesbrough are good, but they're not like...
They get off to slow starts.
Yeah,
they become good.
Not quite as good as you always think they're going to be. I do think Middlesbrough will win, though. I'm going to go with them, but I wouldn't be that surprised if Stoke get something. But I don't know, I think looking at the teams on paper and the fact that Stoke haven't had the best start with the new manager, 2-0 Borough.
Yeah, see, I think a lot of people are expecting Middlesbrough to win this one, but it'd be interesting to see how Pellock approaches this one, because obviously he started off losing to a team that hadn't won the season so far, but yeah, you're coming up against Middlesbrough, who haven't got off to the best start, which they don't often do, and this is why I think they're very similar to Coventry, who always go hand in hand throughout the season. Terrible starts, come good towards the end. So it's too early on in the season for Middlesbrough to start getting a string of wins together, in my opinion. I'm going to go for a draw. 1-1.
1-1?
Yeah.
Okay, right, share your thoughts, guys. Yeah, it's possible. Maybe Middlesbrough just a bit complacent, and then they
possibly
trip over their own feet.
Yeah, I think Stoke might defend really well and hit them on the counter. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, hang on. No, I've just remembered, actually. Stoke beat them 5-0 in the Carabao Cup. Do you remember? But I don't know how much bearing that will have on this. Right, on to the next one. It is Millwall versus Preston. And from what I can remember, I don't think Preston do too well when they go to Millwall. They come here on the back of a 0-0 draw against Blackburn after they tried to eat all of their players. And look, I think Preston have been all right. I don't know. I like both of the managers here. I like Harris and I like Heckingbottom.
Yeah.
I just think they might cancel each other out. 1-1.
Yeah, see, I'm tempted to say a draw as well. A draw, or maybe a Millwall 1-0. They've not had as many this season as they have.
They did get a good 1-1 at QPR, to be fair to them.
That was, but they went 1-0 up, so you can almost look at that as like points dropped in a way.
Yeah.
Coming up against Preston, I think they're quite evenly matched again. A little bit similar to QPR, so maybe it could be another 1-1. But do you know what? I might back the home side this week. 1-0.
1-0.
Yeah, low scoring one for me.
Yeah, they're not. I don't think either of these have been firing on all cylinders yet. You feel like they're still yet to get going, haven't they? Right, on to the next one. It is Oxford United versus Burnley. Interesting this, because Burnley are good, but not quite perfect, but they did get a really good win against Portsmouth. They had to leave it late, but the main thing is they won. I just think this will be really difficult, because Oxford are picking up maximum points at home a lot. But it's going to be very difficult for Oxford as well. I'm going to go for a bonus point here. Oxford 2, Burnley 3. I think Burnley are going to win, but they're going to be a bit surprised by how good Oxford are at home, if that makes sense. Yeah,
although if the Burnley backroom staff are watching Oxford, which they will be, they're not daft, you're thinking, do you know what? They're actually surprising a lot of teams, so don't surprise us and don't underestimate us.
No.
Well, don't underestimate them, but... yeah, Oxford at home have been really impressive. I've been really pleasantly surprised. And they're coming up against Burnley, who are expected to finish top 2. Minimum top 6 this season. Burnley have got to be the favourites. I'm not going for the favourites. I'm going for Oxford. 2-1. Yeah,
I
back in the
love
boys,
that. Yeah, well, why not? They've been really good at home.
I would actually love to see that as well, because so many people, including myself, underestimated Oxford this season. They've been good at home, so why not? They can do it for me.
The longer they keep this good start going, the less they're going to be involved in a relegation battle. Yeah. Right, on to the next one, Soph. Let's go to Fratton Park as Portsmouth host Sheffield United. It's another difficult game for Portsmouth. They just can't escape them, can they?
Can't.
I'm looking at Portsmouth's next 2 games after this. They've got Stoke and Oxford. It finally gets a bit nicer. I think Portsmouth played quite well against Burnley.
They did.
And it's so unlucky that they conceded so late. And it's another difficult game where I just think, I don't know, are they going to be able to stop Sheffield United? I think, well, what a first win it would be if Portsmouth win this game. But Sheffield United are going along nicely. Hamer is just orchestrating everything. Portsmouth 1, Sheffield United 2. So I'm going to back the Blades. I've been very impressed with them. But Pompey fans, I do have a feeling, looking at those next few fixtures, a win is coming very soon.
It's got to be. They are putting in some good performances, just not for the full 90. And I think it could be a similar tale against Sheffield United. At some point, Sheffield United play really nice football, and then at other times you think, oh, okay, there are some weaknesses that teams can exploit, but I don't know. I've got to back the Blades here, so I'm going to say 2-0.
2-0,
Yeah, I think Portsmouth will be in it. They'll have some good chances. They might score, but I'm not going to back it. I think Cooper might get another clean sheet. So yeah, 2-0.
There you go. The next game is at Vicarage Road. It's Watford versus Sunderland. 2 teams that had brilliant starts so far, and probably to our surprise, Sunderland have had the better start, and they got back to winning ways last week against Middlesbrough. As we said earlier, what a goal from Chris Rigg. And to win the derby that isn't a derby is always special. They take on Watford, who got a real beating from Norwich. And to be honest, Sophie, I did think to myself, well, if Watford played anything like they did in that first half against Coventry, against another team, someone will punish them. I have a feeling Sunderland are going to get some more goals here. Watford just seem to have taken their foot off the gas. They had a good first three games, and then it's just slowed down. Watford 1, Sunderland 3.
Oh yeah, I'm actually going for the same scoreline. I think there could be a few goals in this. As you mentioned, with Watford, they can look really good going forward, but they look quite vulnerable at the back. And if you've got the players that are clinical enough, you will get punished. And yeah, they've shown that last week. And I think the same is going to happen against Sunderland. So yeah, 3-1. I'm in agreement.
Yeah, we're both backing the Black Cats to swallow the Hornets alive. Do share your predictions down in the comments. The last prediction, Sophie, is for Swansea City versus Bristol City. Now, Swansea, yeah, let's talk about them first. Brilliant against Coventry. Obviously we were ranting and raving about how bad Coventry were, but at the same time I thought Swansea got their game plan perfect, and they always seem to against Coventry. 2 early goals, well taken, even if there was a deflection for the first one, and the second one's just poor defending as well as a really good finish. I think I might back Swansea again. They're 7th now. Back-to-back wins after beating Norwich as well. And they take on Bristol City, who I did back to beat Oxford.
You did, annoyingly.
But remember, the last 2 away games before that, they'd lost 3-0 and 3-0. I'm not saying 3-0, but I'm going to back Swansea 1-0.
Yeah, I think in our match day vlog, I was so hung up on Coventry playing badly, and I was so tunnel vision on Coventry that I didn't give Swansea the credit they deserved. They came, they executed their game plan perfectly. That's 2 good performances on the bounce. If they can match it with another one, which I think they are more than capable, then yeah, they're going up that table. So it's tricky against Bristol City because on their day I think they are a good team as well, but after seeing Swansea, I'm going to lean towards them. And I think it's going to be a similar scoreline, actually. So I'm going to say 2-1 to Swans again.
Yeah. Well, share your thoughts down in the comments, guys, because that wraps up the Championship predictions for another week. Thank you, as always, for joining me, Sophie. Remember, guys, to hit that like target. What was it, 2,200? And make sure to subscribe. We will be back on the channel tomorrow with Benjamin Bloom doing our League One predictions, and then myself and Sophie's Premier League predictions will be out on Thursday. Make sure to look out for some YouTube shorts as well. Thank you once again. We will see you in the next one. Take care. Peace out.